Hey guys, what's up? It's iFlynn here, and welcome to episode 4 of my Warframe Beginner's Guide for 2021. Remember, if you ever get stuck in Warframe, head over to twitch.tv/iFlynn so you can ask me any questions that you've got. Link is in the description below. Like the video, subscribe, and let's get right into it. So hopefully, if you picked up and leveled some of the weapons that I talked about in the last episode, you should be able to do the Master Rank 4 test. The Master Rank 4 test is literally just a can you stay alive type of test, so all you have to do is jump around the arena until the timer runs out. So with that out of the way, our next goal is to complete the Uranus Junction on Saturn. To do that, we have to defeat Sargus Ruk on Tethys, open 3 Meso Void Relics, and craft a weapon that requires Master Rank 1 or higher. This is something that you should have done if you watched the last episode. Opening 3 Meso Void Relics should be easy for you. It's the exact same process as opening up a Lift Void Relics, except this time the missions that you're playing to open your Meso Relics are higher level. You should have accumulated some Meso Relics by playing through Jupiter. If you didn't, then you're definitely going to get some by going through Saturn. So that leaves defeating Sargus Ruk at Tethys on Saturn. Sargus Ruk is an annoying boss fight. You have to wait for him to do some attacks, and he's going to reveal a glowing blue part of him, which you have to shoot to damage him. A lot of his attacks are going to cover like a big area and leave heat procs on you. So if you're playing a squishy frame with lower level mods or something like that, you're probably going to die a few times. This is why in the last episode, I recommended you started to build Rhino. We're going to fast forward a bit and assume that your Rhino Warframe is finished crafting. Rhino is a really tanky frame. All you have to do is throw these mods onto him once you hit level 30 with him and you're good to go. Our next challenge is going to be dealing enough damage to Sargus Ruk so the boss fight doesn't drag on. We've got a few options to do this. Option number 1 is to try and brute force it with the Vectus that I asked you guys to craft in the last episode using this build on screen now. Option number 2 is going to the market and getting the blueprint for a shotgun called the Heck. Then we have to wait another 24 hours for it to craft. And then option number 3 is to do the Deadlock protocol quest to get a super strong melee weapon called the Xoris. I recommend the options 2 and 3, even though you can totally kill Ruk with the Vectus and Rhino, no problem. Go to the market, get the Heck blueprint, and start crafting the Heck in your foundry. While it's crafting, we want to head back to Venus and go to Fortuna. On Fortuna, you're going to be directed to an NPC called Utico. Speak to her, and this is going to start the Vox Solaris Quest. The Vox Solaris Quest is going to introduce you guys to Fortuna's open world, the Orb Valis. You should be able to complete this quest without any help from me. Once this quest is completed, you're going to be able to start the Deadlock Protocol Quest. We don't actually have to complete this quest, we only have to play it to get the Xoris. So play the quest up until you're able to craft and claim the Xoris, then you can stop doing this quest and continue on progressing through the star chart. While we're waiting on our Heck to craft, we can start making progress with our open world syndicates. At the time of recording this video, Warframe has 3 open worlds: Cetus and the Plains of Eidolon, Fortuna and the Orb Valis, and finally Necrolysk and the Cambion Drift. We've already completed the introductory quest for Fortuna, but I recommend visiting Cetus and the Cambion Drift to complete their introductory quests. Once you've completed their quests, you're able to do bounties to earn reputation with the open world factions. To view your rep with them, you've got to talk to a specific NPC in each open world player hub. For Cetus and the Plains, you have to talk to Konzu. For Fortuna and Orb Valis, you have to talk to Utico. And for Necrolysk and the Cambion Drift, you have to talk to Mother. The open worlds in Warframe are kinda messy. You'll notice that standing isn't earned the same way for Fortuna as it is in the Cambion Drift. Cambion Drift and Necrolysk require you to do bounties to get Mother tokens, which you then exchange with Grandmother to earn rep. Whereas Fortuna and Plains of Eidolon, you can just do bounties, and there are other ways of getting standing, such as hunting and stuff like that, but we'll talk a little bit more about that whenever we really need to grind the rep up. So you don't really have to hardcore farm reputation right now, but I do recommend doing as many bounties as you can on all of the open worlds, as they drop some pretty good rewards. Alright, so we're going to fast forward again and just assume that your Heck and Xoris are finished crafting and that you've leveled them both to level 30. On your Heck, you should be able to run a build that looks a little bit like this, and on your Xoris, you can run a build that looks like this. We're running Irradiation on the Heck because that is what Ruk is weak to, and on the Xoris, we're just running Pressure Point for damage, True Steel for crit chance, and Organ Shatter for crit damage. Now, important note with the Xoris, you want to throw it and then manually make it explode. To do this, hold down your melee button and then press your melee heavy attack button while the Xoris is in mid-air, and that's going to make it explode. With all of this setup, you should now be able to kill Ruk really easy. He drops Ember. I don't personally think Ember is worth farming at this point in the game, but if you want a farmer, go for it. Now you've got access to Uranus. The Neptune Junction on Uranus requires us to complete the quest Nata. defeat Tyl Regor at Titania, complete 5 missions on Uranus with only our melee weapon equipped, and open a cache during any Sabotage mission. Immediately, I'd recommend unequipping your primary and secondary just to run through Uranus with your Xoris. Another thing that you can do to make your Xoris stronger is visit Nightwave. Nightwave is kind of like Warframe's free season pass where you do challenges to earn rewards and Nightwave credits. You can access the Nightwave shop to spend those Nightwave credits by clicking credit offerings on the bottom right of the Nightwave menu. Here you can purchase a lot of different items for Nightwave credits, but I want you guys to focus on Orokin Oculysts and Orokin Reactors. If you can, you should buy 2 Orokin Oculysts and 1 Reactor. These items are going to permanently double the amount of modding capacity on your frames and weapons. Reactors are for frames, whereas catalysts are for weapons. If you go to, let's say, your Hek or Xoris, then click the actions button in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you can then apply an Orokin Oculist to your weapon. I personally put the Orokin Reactor that we got onto Rhino, as we're going to be getting an upgraded version of Excalibur later on who already comes with an Orokin Reactor installed. Another thing we can start doing is forming our weapons if we have Forma laying around. If you've been playing Relic missions, you should be stockpiling some Forma blueprints and then crafting Forma when you have the chance. Remember, Forma takes 23 hours to build and requires rare resources. It's totally worth going out of your way to craft 1 Forma every single time you log on. I recommend adding a V polarity to both your Xoris and your Hek. Equip the Fever Strike mod onto your Xoris, as this is going to combine with the innate electric damage on the heavy attack to make corrosive damage. Of course, keep in mind, if you did Forma, you're going to have to level your weapons from level 0 to 30 again, so keep that in mind before jumping into missions that you think you might struggle with. The Sabotage mission that we have to do to open a cache is Desdemona, which is down the middle path of Uranus. I'm not sure if it can be any old cache or if it has to be a rare cache, as Sabotage missions spawn in rare caches. I always find to open a rare cache just to be safe. Rare caches will glow white and have this high-pitched noise coming from them. Throughout your missions on Uranus, these blue glowing things are going to spawn in from time to time. Bring out either your Quick scanner or Synthesis scanner and scan them. After you complete the mission that you scanned them in, you're going to have access to the Nata quest. Play and complete that. Once you've completed Nata, the last thing that we have to do is defeat Tyl Regor on Titania. This should be pretty easy for you because of the gear that you've got now. Tyl Regor has 3 phases, so to speak. Once he takes a certain amount of damage, he's going to flood the boss room. When it's completely flooded, just go to the platforms above and you're going to be okay. This boss fight drops parts for Equinox. Equinox is a really versatile frame, but the thing is, she's a yin and yang frame. So DE thought it was a good idea to add an extra layer of grind to farming Equinox and require the player to essentially farm up 2 frames for 1. You have to farm up her night and day aspect, then a Neuroptics chassis and system for each, craft all of that, and then put it together for Equinox. Usually, I would recommend just farming up Equinox Prime because that farm is far easier, but at the time of making this video, she's currently vaulted, so the only way to get her is through player trading. You're eventually going to have to farm up Equinox, so in my opinion, the sooner you get this farm out of the way, the better. With that out of the way, we can now defeat the Loki Spectre on the Neptune Junction and move into Neptune. On Neptune, the Pluto Junction requires us to complete the second dream, defeat the Hyena pack, and complete a spy mission on Uranus with 3 successful data extractions. Because of the equipment that you now have, I shouldn't have to help you with any of these junction requirements. I recommend doing the second dream first. I'm not going to show you any footage of this quest because this is the first major quest in the game. Just know that at the end of the quest, I recommend picking Zeteric. Uranus is our first tier 3 planet, so we've got some more things to farm up from spy missions. We have to farm the Ivara blueprint, the Ivara Neuroptics blueprint, Frostbite, Frigid Blast, Hell's Chamber if you don't have it already, Scorch and Firmament rounds. All of these rewards drop from rotation C of tier 3 spy. For the Hyena pack, just throw your Xoris at them, make it explode, and they're gonna die. The Hyena pack drops parts for Loki. We don't need to farm Loki because he's not that good of a frame, but if you want to farm him, go ahead and do so. Before the next episode, make sure to try your best to get the Master Rank 5. On screen now, I'm going to have all the weapons that you can now use that you're Master Rank 4. None of these in particular outside of the Xoris and the Hek are really necessary to get, so just pick whatever looks cool to you. With all that being said though, that's going to be it for this episode of the guide. If you liked it, press like, subscribe for more Warframe content, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.